Surprise. Live but not announced live. So I'm sorry that I'm a bit late with the lesson about my last reel, but I had a pretty intense last 2 weeks. I didn't have childcare, and then my baby was not fine, so it was very difficult for me to find the time to connect and do this lesson. As I said, this is the lesson about the last reel that I shared with you, which was a reel for body music for children, which is my project of body percussion for children older than 3.5, 4, and teenagers and adults as well, although it's called body music for children. And I shared with you in the last reel this game. It's an Italian hand clapping game, which is called ERA LUNEDì, ERA LUNEDì. So it's a very famous nursery rhymes that I've learned when I was a child myself, and then I'm now using it in English and sometimes in Spanish with students that I have. And it's a very effective game because it works a lot on laterality. So when the children are ready to coordinate and to understand right and left, this game is perfect. It really works on a lot of different levels, okay? So I'm just going to list here all the things that you can do with this activity. So you're working on singing, you're working on movement, structured movement, you're working on coordination, you're working on laterality, and when you're working on laterality, you're also working on the body image, so the ability of recognize the parts of our body in relationship to the space, but also to recognize left and right, and then to project left and right in the to create basically the representation of left and right and our body and the proportion and the different shapes of our body also in the environment that surrounds us. That's why body music is a great tool to work with kids, because not only works on musicality and coordination, but it really works also on their perception of the reality somehow. And that is super important also for literature, so writing, reading, okay. So what are you working on as well? Well, you're working on different languages if you want, because as I said, you can sing it in Italian, in English, in Spanish, and potentially in your own language if you want to translate it. And then you're working on some executive functions. When we talk about executive functions, we always have to be careful, because we don't perform an MRI on the brain of the children exactly when they are doing the activity. I wish we could, but at the moment, of course, it's not as easy. But what we know is that we are stimulating some executive functions. And in this activity, you're definitely stimulating attention, working memory, calling me at the phone and I have stopped it. Cognitive flexibility and planning. So how? Well, in this activity, when you go to the level for 6+, so for children age 6+, kids are asked, okay, to basically perform right and left, okay, in the hand clapping game, and then turn towards another friend. So they have to plan this movement in the right time, yeah? But also, as a teacher, as a facilitator, you can always ask the kids to stop singing and perform only the body percussion, and then to bring back the voice. If you do that, they need to be attent and focused on you the whole time, and that's how we support a long-term attention. But they also have to be able to remember what you just said to them, okay? And that is working memory. So plus this type of attention is divided, because they have to think about what you've listened, what they have just listened to. They have to be able to do it. So listen and remember, do it, singing at the same time, turning, moving, okay? So their attention is sustained, of course, because it has to be there the whole time, but it's also divided, because the body percussion itself requires to divide attention. Yeah, I'm singing, I'm moving, I'm turning, I'm observing, but it's also alternating, because I always have to check what the teacher is saying to me, if I have to sing with a voice, if I have to sing without the voice. So attention is very, very involved in this activity, yeah? And then, of course, one of the last point that I haven't listed yet, so attention, coordination, singing, relationship between voice and body, executive functions, and now there is teamwork, because they are working in circle, they are working in couples. First they can do this, yeah, era lu, sorry, era lu, era di, they can play it with their friends, so they have to work all together and coordinate their movements, so there is a lot of cooperation in that moment. But they can also, when they turn towards one of their friends, so go to see the reel, the last option is that they turn towards one of their friends. When they turn, they start working in couples. So the relationship changes. Their emotional feelings change in that moment, because they're not one within the big circle, but at that point they are one within the couple. So everything changes. I don't know if you've ever tried body music in different shapes and different type of groups, but when you work in a big group, you have some feelings coming through. You have a lot of internal thoughts, but also you're constantly checking with what's happening around you. And when you're working in couples, your attention go narrow and you're just thinking about the person that you have in front of you. And somehow your attention is also much more on you than before. At least that's what I felt when I tried this type of exercises myself. Because at that point it's just you and your friend, right? So the relationship is much more intense. So for somebody, this is important to say, for somebody, the relationship in a couple can be very intense, okay? Something that, I have to just stay and play with this person, and maybe I don't like this person this much. So we always have to take this in consideration. But also when they are working in the big group, potentially they are not as comfortable, okay? Especially if they are teenagers. Maybe they are a bit awkward, they feel a bit awkward about their body. And being in a big circle in front of each other without filters can create a little bit of awkwardness in them. So when we ask people to play together, we always have to think, what type of relationships, what type of feeling is this type of position bringing up in my students? That's why children do one day of the week with one child, and then they turn and they go to another child. So, okay, maybe I didn't like that person much, maybe I felt a little bit awkward. Now I can turn and I have another person. So I change a little bit. And then I go back to the person that I didn't like much before. But I know her a little bit better because I have already played with her or with them. Okay? So with this movement, you allow kids to experiment, explore their feelings, and in the same time coordinate and sing. So a lot of things are happening in their brains, okay? You go back and watch the reel if you're not sure what I'm talking about. Instead now, I want to share with you another possibility that I haven't shared in the reel, and that I'm going to put on my stories after this live, okay? It's a little video taken from one of my courses with the teachers. And this activity in this specific type of exercise develops in basically in couples, okay? So there are, let me see if I can draw this for you big so you can understand what I'm talking about. Okay, let's go. Yeah? Ta-da-da-da-da. So we're gonna have a circle. We need to be even number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So let's say that these ones are number 1, and the empty circles instead are the number 2 people. Or you can say A, B, or I don't know, summer, winter, if you don't want to give a hierarchy, 1, 2, change red and blue. Okay, you can assign different type of elements, symbols. So this is, let's say this is 1 and this is 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, etc., etc. Okay? So in this type of let me finish it so it's clear. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So what happened? We do the whole game once in couples. So these two are playing together. Okay? These two, 1 and 2 are playing together. 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 Yeah? They play in couples. Era lu, or let's say it in English. Is it man, man, man? Is it day, day, day? Is it man? Is it day? At this point, they stop. And the number ones are going to do, no, it's not Monday. Yeah? So they move outside the circle all together at the same time. Okay? And basically, they're going to find another couple, another pair. Where is this one? Moving here. Yeah? So I'm gonna do it by standing up now and see if you can understand what I'm talking about. Right? So, closing the door. Here I have a person, this is my friend, and we are all in circle. Okay? So I'm doing, is it man, man, man? Is it day, day, day? Is it man? Is it day? No, it's not Monday. And I go to the other couple. Okay? And with me, all the other number ones are moving outside the circle to find another pair. Okay? So this is taken from folk dances, okay? Popular, folk and traditional dances, where there is a lot of changing and connection between the people of the group, right? So first of all, I suggest you to try with only one person of a couple that moves towards the next step, okay? In the part of a song that says, no, it's not Monday, or in Italian, era lunedì, okay? Once everybody have learned this very, very well, okay, and there are techniques to teach this movement alone, so they can understand better how to do it. Once these ones have done the game and they understood, you said to them, okay, number one, now you put some glue under your feet and you don't move any longer. You now stay on your spot and don't move. So what's happened? Now is the number two that needs to go and meet a friend. And they are going to go inside the circle. Okay, so let me draw now here on a different color. Let's go with green. I hope you see it. Now let's go with blue. Found the blue. So the number two are gonna do, no, it's not Monday, and go to that place. No, it's not Tuesday. No, it's not Wednesday. No, it's not Thursday. No, it's not Friday. Okay? So they're moving inside the circle. Okay? Only the number two at that point. Number ones are staying. Number two, give a hand and move inside the circle to go to the other couple. Once everybody have understood how it works, then you can ask to move at the same time. But I wouldn't dare trying this with kids that are younger than 12, 13. Even for adults, it's complicated sometimes to move the two circles at the same time, okay? So one important thing when you teach these activities is that you say to the person that is moving to move exactly in the circle again, not to move and then stay here, because that gets very complicated then. So people need to move from the circle, go inside and stay again inside the circle, okay? Now, to make you understand this better, I'm going to share a video, as I said, in my stories, so you can see a group of teachers doing this type of activity. Okay, this was the end of this game. I suggest you trying because it's great. And you can always use the song, as I showed you in the reel, with much more simple much more simple activity movements, okay? So introduce the laterality only when children are able to understand left and right, okay? And my suggestion, I know it's a bit weird to say it, but usually girls are a bit better with this type of games, okay? Because they play already. Instead, boys tend to play maybe football or run a lot. Girls are a bit more sedentary, so they tend to play these type of games already when they are a bit younger. So my suggestion is to try to put maybe a boy and a girl together sometimes, and or if you see that there is a child that is struggling a lot with the coordination right and left, you can either modify the activity, okay, only for that child or for that couple, or you can put that child with a very good coordinated student, okay? So you can see definitely very easily who is quick and able to understand this type of movements and who needs a little bit more time. So my suggestion is to try to create those couples in the beginning in a way that is not too clear, okay? So don't say, you can't do it. You come here because you're very good, so you can help him. No, we don't say that. We just ask the children to move. Maybe you can do like a random movement and create something a bit crazy at some point and everybody runs around, and then you try to grab two of them and put them together. So try to make it always fun. Another thing that is very fun of this activity is that when you've done this, or even when you're working only in circle in this way, or only when the couples are standing in front of each other, when you're singing the day of the week of your class, so pretending that you're teaching on Wednesday, when you get to the Wednesday, kids can go and run around in the way they want, and they have 8 beats to come back and recreate the circle. You can ask them to recreate the circle with the couples that they were before, or to recreate the circle meeting other people. So this is another way to introduce an even broader way of interacting, okay? So as I said before, when you're working in circle or when you're working in pair, you can have a very strong relationship with the person in front of you and always feel a little bit awkward, perhaps. If it's your best friend, you're very happy to play with her. But if it's a person that you don't like as much, it can be a bit hard in the beginning. So in this type of activity instead, in this one, you get to meet basically everybody in the circle, apart from the other number ones, right? So you have ways to make children interact between themselves without knowing that they are doing it. So you're just creating an environment that opens the relationship, the possibility to meet, the possibility to connect, even if the activity is very structured. Okay? Right, do you have any questions? If you don't have any questions, then I'm gonna close this live today. And I will see you on Monday with a new song, a new pam-pam song. The next Monday is going to be a song in Mixolydian, for kids 0 to 3 years old. All right, I think there are no questions, so thank you very much. I will post this, and I will post also a little video that I was talking about before. And I'll see you soon. Yeah, see you next Monday for the Monday Music Seeds. Bye-bye.